Welcome, everybody. This is the Monolog podcast. I am your co-host, Jose, and we don't have the usual suspects today. We are down half strength, so I only have my other usual suspect, Marcus. But to get us at full strength, we do have a special guest, Cassie. How's it going, Cassie?
Hi. Good. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for making the time. I know you're... What is this? Bleach?
Coronar's been trying to get me to quit. Shit.
Well, now you're on video.
Whoops. Coronar, if you see this.
So, Cassie, thank you so much for making the time. We're really looking forward to interviewing you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
No problem. So for our listeners and viewers out there, Cassie is a cosplay maker and model. So first guest cosplayer we had on the show. Really excited.
Really?
So, yeah, you're the first. Hopefully we'll get more.
Yeah, I just recently started cosplaying, so I don't really consider myself one yet.
I was just gonna ask which person is the cosplayer and like whose idea, where does this come from?
That's Marcus. He's the one that's been starting cosplaying since last year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the thing about Marcus is that when he cosplays, he doesn't really do a specific character. He does himself in that universe, which is pretty cool.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I fully support that.
I got tired of hearing people. Well, one of the negative stigma that happens in the anime community and the cosplay community, especially amongst people of color, is they always say like, "Well, that character isn't black." So now if they ask like, "Well, who is that?" Me. It's me.
I love that. I do something similar as well. It's how I like to start my cosplay idea anyways. Like, what would I look like in this universe, or what would my version of this character look like? So I think it's great. I think it's way more creative.
Yeah.
That's dope. So Cassie, what got you into cosplaying?
Really in a love for fashion and Halloween. Got me into sewing, so making my own clothes and Halloween costumes, and then that just led me down a bunch of different sewing avenues, including industrial sewing, theater, and cosplay as well. So
nice.
Kind of spread out from sewing.
That's what's up. And you do make a lot of your cosplay. What percentage would you say you actually make versus buy?
Each cosplay or of all my cosplays?
Like all your cosplays.
I make most of them. I recently bought one, and it was a mental thing I had to go over. It was like, is this something I want to start doing? Because I usually make all of them, but I do have a big love for modeling as well. So when I buy it, I treat it more as like a modeling experience than a cosplay making experience.
Yeah. And how much of a time commitment is making one cosplay outfit? Like how many hours, days?
Well, I only recently started tracking my hours because I'm interested in as well. My last couple were about 40 hours.
Wow.
But I mean, I'm a normal person too with an everyday job, so I can only fit in a couple hours a week. So it usually takes me a month or two.
Yep.
It takes me days and sometimes weeks to get my cosplayers together because I don't sew and I don't buy some cosplay outfits will come with the full set, everything that's supposed to be tied to that character. So because I'm a big guy, I have to find other avenues. So I have to literally make it using different pieces from different places.
Yeah, it used to be like that. Cosplaying was more of going to the hardware store and seeing what kind of pipe would look right for this gun, or it's really finagling and finding your pieces. But now it's a lot easier to just buy whatever you want.
Yeah, especially online. You just Google it, and you have a lot of different stores that will sell you that cosplay.
Yeah, there's. Yeah,
they suck when it comes to cosplay. I'm sorry.
Amazon, yeah, they're not the best at cosplay.
Because I bought an Akatsuki cloak, and I bought the biggest size they had. Yeah, it didn't fit. It was. I'm trapped. One, I couldn't how you wear something and it's so tight you can't put your arms together. That's what it was. Couldn't zip it up, nothing. I was like, damn, I got to get back in the gym.
Good thing they have an amazing return policy.
It's still in my closet, actually.
Oh, so
it's sometimes I just take the loss.
I will admit though, Amazon does have pretty good lace front wigs. That's where I've been going, but I think overall it's you can't really expect good quality in general. It's not very reliable.
Yeah, if I need a wig, I'm going to a beauty supply store.
And then, Cassie, we're big fans of your Ariel cosplay that we used as kind of the promo art for this one.
Nice.
But what's been your favorite cosplay that you've done so far?
Of course, that's a very difficult question to answer because all of the ones that I make have a very special place in my heart. They're like an offspring of mine. I put a lot into them, and I hold myself to really high standards. And it's and they're all my favorite in different categories. So Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. My redesign of it was super fun to wear at convention.
It was awesome.
Thank you. It's definitely a favorite all around. And it was just a ton of fun to wear at conventions. I definitely made a little kid cry because he was afraid of the contact. The contact really kicked it up a notch and made it very surreal. But I mean, Ursula was a big deal to me. That was a really big build in general. But then I think one of my first fully made cosplays was Princess Jasmine, who was my role model growing up. So that one's also just very dear to my heart.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a very good one.
Thank you.
So I got to ask you this. What do you prefer, the animated Aladdin or the live action Aladdin?
The animated. I haven't even seen the live action one. I couldn't get myself
there you go, people.
It was okay. It was okay. But it didn't live up to the hype that everyone thought it would. But it was okay. I would have cast Jim Carrey as Genie.
As Genie?
That'd be interesting. I thought that Will Smith was a very interesting choice as well.
If anybody could have pulled off the charisma of Genie other than Robin Williams, Jim Carrey.
Could have. All right, so back to cosplaying. What was your most expensive cosplay? I'm not sure if it was also your favorite.
Well, Ursula and my Babadook cosplay were both quite expensive. Babadook, I insisted on using velvet for. I thought that it would absorb light and make it look much more, surreal or character, that sort of thing. So that was a good chunk of fabric money.
Great. All right.
I got to get into sewing. Jesus.
It's a ton of fun, and it opens a lot of, especially if you say you have a hard time, finding things, it gives you just so much more control of, your own closet and, how things fit you and whatnot. I think it's great. I'm a fan.
Yeah, definitely going to start doing that.
Awesome.
Nice. All right. The next question is a two-part question. So it is, what is the best part of the cosplay community? And also, what is the worst part of the cosplay community? And
I'm glad you made this two-part question because I think that the answer is the same for both because the people in the community can be the worst and the best. But I try to just focus on the positive because it's way easier to find the positive people in the community and it's way more fun. I haven't had too many bad experiences, but I know that it is common and it is really unfortunate. And I don't want to add any gasoline to that fire, so I pay no mind.
That sounds similar to
which is how you should, which is the way we all should look at it. But
yeah,
it definitely is a thorn in the side of the community.
Definitely. I just think there's so many talented makers and creators, and I've made so many great friends. I mean, it's undeniable. There's so many awesome people. So it's worth getting into, and overall, very welcoming.
Nice. I would say this is the same thing for the podcast community. Also, like the people and the connections you make are the best part, but it could also be the worst part.
Awesome.
All right. My next question is, how many conventions have you been to, and have you been to any conventions since the pandemic started?
Yes, I have been to conventions since the pandemic. I do not know how many conventions I've been to. I've been doing this for about 10 years, and I've been to at least one convention every year, but sometimes as many as 3. So
Nice.
I don't.
Nice.
That's just a guesstimate. But since the pandemic, I went to Grand Rapids Comic Con and Motor City Comic Con, where I met Elijah Wood. That was my biggest highlight of Motor City Comic Con this year.
That's pretty cool.
Cool guy.
Nice. I met Michael Rooker.
Nice. Was he cool too?
He's actually a really nice guy. Most people don't know that.
Fantastic.
All right, our next question. Do you have an embarrassing cosplay story? It could be either one that happened to you or one that you saw happen to someone else.
I think that all the embarrassing situations come from photo requests, like at conventions, whether it's like somebody wanting to take a picture of a specific part of my body or my shoes, or like posing gone wrong, that sort of thing. I had one guy ask me, he ran up to me, I was dressed as Princess Jasmine, and he's like, I'm taking pictures with all the Disney princesses and picking them up, sort of thing. And I'm like, what? And then it just picked me up before I could answer anything, revealing my undergarment. So, very unprepared.
That's pretty embarrassing.
That's a no-no.
Very embarrassing. Like, thanks, dude.
Yep.
He didn't mean to, though.
Oh, man.
But I also had a guy ask me to take a picture of just my shoes. I'm like, sure. Just a little surprised by that one. I also had a lady. I don't share many pictures of my Apocalypse cosplay. It was in my early days, so not my proudest work, but I was basically wearing a one-piece swimsuit with a bunch of armor on top. And this lady came up and asked me if she could take a picture of me. Of course. And she's like, but would you mind turning around so I can get a picture of your butt? I'm like, oh, okay. From a lady. Okay, so I really just like...
Are these serial photographers just going around taking pictures of body parts? Oh, I got a seat.
That's, wow. Is she doing like a side-by-side comparison
I
front and back? Wow.
But,
how do I get mine to look
I mean, I just had to laugh through the whole thing because it felt weird.
Sweet. All right. Well, that was the last written question we have on here. But Marcus, do you have any questions you thought of since the interview started?
I got one. I'm trying to figure out how to form it because it just popped in.
That's okay. I would also like to know what kind of cosplays you have done, if you're cool sharing.
Okay, so I've done Sith Lord, Star Trek Captain, Asuma. I'm working on a Slytherin House cosplay. That stuff will be here tomorrow. The robe is going to be here in about a couple of weeks. I'm also working on, I'm still trying to finish this one because I got the patches for, the shoulder today, but it was only one, so I got to buy another one. So they both can match. I just bought the bandages for the rest. I'm also working on an Akatsuki cosplay, a Gunslinger Spawn cosplay.
There's so many.
It's starting to sound expensive.
There's also Moon Rider, a cross between Ghost Rider and Moon Knight. Supreme Spider-Man, basically Stephen Strange and Spider-Man together. Super Mario.
I'm doing that one. I didn't expect such a long list.
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time like trying to figure out like which cosplay characters can I possibly pull off, and every now and again because I'm on TikTok a lot, and I follow a lot of cosplayers, and one of them specifically said gave me some advice. She was like, I've never stopped looking for different cosplays to work on. So anytime something gets in your head and you think you can do it, like make a list and start just finding stuff. Like I found one for a character called Zenpool. Basically, think of Deadpool, but just a goody two shoes.
Awesome.
And about as equally as annoying. But I found that one, and I had a majority of the stuff for that cosplay. I just need a couple of other items, and
very exciting.
I got that one. But yeah, like I told the guys, like when I start, I'm going like full throttle because I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and I kind of didn't have the space to do it because I was living in a hotel. And now that I'm in my own apartment, I got the freedom to do so. So
fantastic!
I'm going to do it.
That's what's up.
And yeah, Jose, it is fucking expensive.
Even if you make them,
yeah,
it adds up.
I can imagine.
For sure. You would think that making would be cheaper.
Yeah, like you said, fabric alone.
Yeah, but then it looks, I don't know, making yours just, it just looks so much better, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so, well, I mean, of course you're gonna get better as you go along. Like no one who just starts off is gonna be like a genius at it, but eventually you start picking up more skills and figuring out like different ways to do stuff, and then eventually you start making these competition worthy cosplays, which I'm hoping I can get there someday.
I'm sure you can.
Right now my cosplay game is just buying.
Well, the only way you get better at doing things is by doing it all the time. So don't give up. Keep going.
Yep.
And then Cassie, you're a published cosplayer,
a couple
right?
Times. It's very exciting. One of my goals this year, I would love to get into judging. I really love being at conventions, and so I'd like to make that more of a part of my life. So I'm just going to explore those avenues.
That sounds awesome.
Can't wait to see that. All right, Boza, do you have your question or not?
So, what's something that you would tell aspiring cosplayers to who are just trying to get started?
I think a lot of people get intimidated, especially when you're like on Instagram and you see all of these people who are already so incredible at making cosplay. You're like, what's the point in even starting? But I think, especially when you think of a costume differently, like we were talking about in the very beginning, like putting yourself in the universe and contributing something new to a character, like, you know, I think that's where you'll find your place. That's just my personal opinion. But also, just like I was telling you, like the more time you spend on it, the better you'll get. So if you sit on your butt, you're not going to get better at
it.
Yeah. So don't cut.
True.
Exactly.
Great advice. All right, Cassie. Well, that's all the questions we had for you. Before we let you go, why don't you tell our listeners
where they can everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Ko-Fi, Etsy, and TikTok. All is Costume Contest. There might be an underscore in there or something like that, but it is Costume Contest, nothing else. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Cool. Awesome. And we'll make sure we drop your handle on here. Thank you so much for joining us.
You too.
Great talking to you. Have a good night.